We used it.
Recording.
Hello. A geotechnical engineer is part of our team, our structural engineer working in concert with them, as well as our site and civil. Nothing is insurmountable, and we feel we have an approach here on the site.
Just for not this meeting, the second meeting in July, we took care of the property temporarily.
Oh, you mean at council?
At council, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, we approved the change that allowed that back, yes, that back piece that joined it to the school site. So it took it from the park site and added it to the school site so that we met the lot coverage.
Yes, and Mike also identified another key benefit of that. That is the existing outflow of the stormwater currently. We had to work on it at any rate, but because of the way the state structures its reimbursement, if that was the end of the school site, they would not allow you reimbursement on that. But with this adjustment, we're able to procure the additional reimbursement. Thank you. Any others?
Questions? Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Mine, anyone?
How did you get the monitor to work?
No, he plugged his laptop into it.
Do you have a laptop?
I give.
Let him use it.
Is you ever going to? Oh, okay.
I could plug it into, I could always plug it into mine too. That one.
You want it?
Yeah, let me do that.
Can I just?
You could connect wirelessly?
No, I couldn't connect
Can you take my thumb
through through there.
Oh,
So,
oh, okay.
I
so
don't
we,
know if it's gonna be long enough. to
no,
get to you.
just pull this can
It
come,
moves forward.
yeah, it's on wheels.
Oh, that'd be me.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We'll figure it
Oh, do you remember the IBW? Oh, him.
There we go.
That happened to
That'll
me at
do
an
it.
education show. Is there a board across that board? You need a carpenter.
You don't need
a
a
board,
grievance over here.
We
The
good?
electricians union to move the cable.
Not sure what this is. What are we doing? You got the right source? Yeah, we got it. What happened? What?
I think my.
Oh.
2 inches too short.
Yeah, I already
And be too long.
copied down.
And I trip over.
Some reason I am.
He got mad on me.
Yeah.
I'm not getting my desktop. Oh, you know what? I think I'm in the,
Okay, this place
I
is
think I'm
wired,
in,
that outlet probably goes all the way back to Union Street and we just do a call right.
Oh, no, there's no whole
Surprising.
Broadway, my lights will be out.
Right. Generator over there.
See a manhole on fire somewhere.
There it is.
There it was.
Successfully detected.
He's teasing you.
yeah, I'm teasing you.
Got some great photos to share.
You can move this.
All right.
So while he's doing that, quick question.
Yes.
The entrance driveway is closed because of the utility runs.
Yes.
Do you foresee that being reopened before election day?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be open by the end of the week,
Oh, okay.
for Monday.
Only because we gotta think about traffic flow.
Yeah, no,
Well,
we're gonna
the
return that
school.
for school starting,
Yeah.
School starting next week.
so it'll return to its
Well,
normal.
I figured you,
Let you know, Mark.
right, well, yeah, but that, I figured you had that figured out. I was just thinking more down.
Yep, next week it'll be restored to how it was when we arrived.
Okay.
All right, good to go.
Okay.
For the giant mound of
So
dirt.
Stanton Elementary School, I'll run through and give you a progress update on what got completed over the last 30 days. Unfortunately, same photo as last month, not much has changed on that, but it's a great perspective on the school. Okay. So, moving forward, we are constructing the building, in a sequence of A to B to C. That's how it's identified on the drawings. So as we move through, you're going to see certain areas that are farther ahead under construction at area A compared to area C. So area A, steel erection started this week. You can see the steel behind the building now from the London Turnpike. That's the lower area of area A, the single story area. And over there where the columns are stepping up, that's the second story area, just getting started. It allowed us to complete the underslab sanitary and storm systems in area A and into B also. We completed the underslab electrical. That's the start of an electrical room in area A, conduits feeding into it. And then a bank of conduits running back to the main electrical room. Buried sand. As the foundation is completed, we've started our backfilling operations on the exterior of the building, damp proofed and compacted, and then on the inside, next slide. It gets rigid insulation installed vertically, 2-inch rigid and backfilled. We backfilled both sides of the wall at the same time. Completed the masonry elevator shaft before the steel started, 2-story stop. And that's area C. While we're still erecting steel, the foundation is just getting wrapped up in area C. That's the loading dock area where the ramp goes up. And we probably got about another couple of weeks of concrete foundations ahead of us. So the utilities you were just asking about, this is what we completed this summer. I've got some photos, but the blue line is the water. I think I shared that with you last month. The pink or magenta line is the gas line that came in. And then the red is the primary electrical duct bank and the dashed red line is the communication. So the blue line is all the way, water's all the way up to within the vicinity of building. And on these two utilities, we've just kind of suspended those activities at the construction gate or just inside the construction to allow that to continue once we get behind the gate and continue. That was just a summer activity. So you were asking, that's all going to get paved this week and turned over. So that'll become the one-way entrance door. That's the primary electrical duct bank. That's a pole box handhole, and it is cast in concrete as a requirement of NPU. If it's in a paved area, it's cast in concrete.
There'll be what, an underground transformer?
No, that's just the raceway for the cable to run through from the street all the way into the transformer. The transformer will be adjacent to the building, but it'll be above ground. That's just a whole point, a working point. You can't pull 800, 1,000 feet.
Yeah, it's they have one of those every so far on a run.
Right.
About 300 feet every 350 feet, I think
Okay,
there's one of
yeah,
those.
because you can't pull a mile of cable.
Yeah, I try to suction that, trust me.
Correct. So that's the primary duct bank. This is the communication duct bank that's in a sand bedding material, but it's not encased. And those are the pole boxes. So those pole boxes are located in the lawn areas. They're not for vehicle traffic, unlike the pole box you saw before is in the roadway when you drive over. And there's the gas line going in. Pretty easy for us. We just trench and backfill, and the gas company actually installs the piping and the sand around it.
That's not encased though, right?
Nope, just sand. The sanitary manhole system started going in. That's in the rear of the building, running from the building all the way out to Will Road. So just a photo of the one of the manholes just getting set. And then that's a view of looking at manhole number 1 up towards Will Road. And at Will Road, quite a bit going on. And that first photo on the side there, The yellow line is the gas line that we're working around, gas main and Will Road. There was the two black lines on the side are the two existing force mains that we had to move out of our way. The trench box is sideways for safety for the evening, but it's all rock excavation in there. As soon as we got about 6 or 8 feet away from the manhole, it's all rock that's gonna have to get hoe rammed and drilled and removed. There was an existing storm line that was perpendicular to that had to get removed in order to be put back in. So there was a lot happening at Will Road. Most recently, within the last couple of days, it's backfilled. We've got a couple of sticks of pipe in, so it's tied back together adjacent to the manhole. And now we just need to complete our rock excavation all the way down to the other manhole. Drill rig is on site. They're going to pre-drill the holes through the rock so that when they hole ram it with the large excavator, there's some relief and the rock could actually break, opposed to being all packed tight together. The hole ram really can't break it up. So the technique is to pre-drill it and then it'll have some relief.
Like a giant pattern.
And the complete opposite end of this sanitary system is a temporary grinder pump system that just got backfilled and installed. So the existing sanitary out of the building runs by gravity to that tank, and then it's pumped all the way out to Will Road in a force main on a temporary basis until the school's turned over. And that's what it looks like after it's backfilled. It's pretty close to the school, as you can see right there.
So it's on a temporary basis, so eventually it will be abandoned in place,
I
removed?
think it gets removed, yeah, and then the new building will just be tied right
Yeah.
into that, yes. Jim mentioned the mock-up that's under construction. That's the vapor barrier system, allows it to be installed. Manufacturer's rep look at it, architect, design team, everyone's on the same page as how we're going to implement the various techniques and how all the building materials come together. Very useful. I think that's it.
Yep.
Just a couple other things I wanted to comment on was, we do have a meeting, a back to school meeting with the staff tomorrow with the principal, her assistant principal. Matt Brown will be on the call just to kind of organize ourselves to remind everyone what's happening when we get back to school at life, active campus. We've had the freedom of having kind of the whole place to ourselves, but starting next week when the teachers are back, we're going to shrink back to our original construction site, everything behind the construction, the blue fence, and work around their bus schedule, getting all their parking back. We're going to review protocols for fire drills, lockdown drills, their evacuation drills, and just make sure that we're on the same page with them, living with them on that campus. It's their campus.
And when will that driveway be ready?
End of the week,
End of this week?
this week, yeah.
All right, so starting Monday then.
Starting Monday, they'll be driving up the main entrance driveway.
Yeah,
Leading.
because next week they have open house and parents and kids will be coming in.
Yes, they do. We'll be ready for them.
Yeah, can I question, because I know this is Susan, you've been working with Carolina and Amy Edwards, the new assistant principal on this. I know that they've shared with you when open house has been. If I can just be invited to that first meeting before the kids show up, just so that I'm aware of all the safety around with the kids coming back to school, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, it's short notice, Susan. I apologize. It's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I could send you the invite.
Oh, no, I'll just put it on my calendar. Thank you. It's at Stanton, right?
It's at Stanton, but we'll offer it virtually too. If you want to just listen in, I could send you that invite, whatever you want to do.
Perfect. I'll take care of it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Construction workers parking. We've reached out and communicated with the Assembly of God Church. About 2/10 of a mile from the entrance of Stanton, right down at the traffic light. They were allowed us to park in their parking lot and utilize that parking. So that's where we'll be parking. The subcontractors, workers that drive to the site will be there. And then the other news, you were asking about Eaton and the switch gears.
Stop working, yeah.
Switchgear delivery. We did speak with Eaton, they're the manufacturer of the switchgear. The current lead time is 52 weeks, which puts the product delivered to the site on June 12th, 2026, which is a little late. We had a very favorable meeting with them. We have a contact at the factory, and they are acknowledging that date will be improving. We're going to continue to meet with them in September, and they're optimistic they're going to be able to provide us with a 3 to 4 week improvement on that. And we're working with them to try and get to like a 10-week improvement, expedited deliveries. They thought that was realistic. Eaton does have a factory in Connecticut where they possibly could assemble this in South Windsor. And that's one of the techniques we'll be working with Eaton on, is to try and maybe get the product fabricated in Connecticut so we can get it a little sooner. So I'll keep you up to speed on that. It might take a few months, but that's the. So any questions on what you saw? I know I flashed through a lot of photos there.
You had talked back in June, I think it was, said, hey, if we wanted to take a walk on the site at some point,
Yes.
just like Fridays would be best.
Afternoons are the best. It gets quiet after 2:30, 3 o'clock. Friday at 3 is a good time too. So yeah, please just wear no shorts, wear shoes, no sandals. And then we'll help you out with a vest and a hard hat. But yeah, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I showed up after golf one time and then I got turned away.
It's very hard to continue to enforce the safety.
Yeah, well, I don't think you called it a score.
No. He wanted to wear golf spikes on the concrete.
No, I showed up in shorts and stuff.
Yeah, you have a full set of gloves with you, so you could beat them.
I
Sure,
did,
stop by. Anyone else? Thank you.
ONG?
What were you doing in green?
Oh, no, you got Greenville, that's right. Sorry, geez, yeah, thank you. I'm all right.
I can leave?
All right,
It's gonna
Oh,
work,
that's
but
the other.
my presentation is the packet, so that makes it any different.
Oh, change. Second. Um,
Oh, yeah. Good pictures in there. All right.
let me just share this.
Pictures of us.
The whole Zoom thing.
It's the pre-bronze mats, and then you see it 12 feet away.
There, well, let's see that in action, fun.
I cannot go ahead.
Greenville update. Work completed. We had a pre-install meeting for the modular block wall and retaining wall installations. So we're looking to start that work actually next week. We have a separate piece of equipment coming in, separate crew who's just gonna be working on retaining walls. First delivery scheduled for Wednesday next week of the actual block and fabric. So that is getting started. Work completed, continuing, we've removed overburden for blasting on the middle tier of the site. So you have the low, the middle, and the top is kind of how we look at it. So the middle tier, all that overburden moved, and we've been blasting in there this week. The switchgear, as Chris just said, we're on a parallel path with Stanton. So everything he just said is accurate for Greenville. And we've completed multiple sequences of blasting. As of last Wednesday, when I put this together, we had 23 completed blasts. As of today, as of right now, we have 25. So there's a little bit of a change in how we're doing the blast between Wednesday and today, actually. So we were doing 2 blasts a day. Now we're doing 1 blast, but it consists of both blasts for the day. So they get everything ready and they just shoot them at the same time. So instead of a morning and an afternoon shot, it's kind of just the middle of the day, 1 shot, but it counts as 2 if you.
Now, there was some talk I saw in the email tree about increasing the,
Yes, we're looking to increase the PPV value, which is the particle velocity guideline. So in the spec, we have a 0.5 PPV. So that's what's bought with the contractor. The state guideline is a 2.0. So we're looking to up that to a 1 to give us a little more leeway to do bigger blasts. And the bigger blasts actually help break the rock up more, so there's less time hole ramming it and, you know, making it manageable for a crusher. So it's a benefit kind of all around. Hopefully be able to do more blasting at once and spend less time managing the rock after the fact. So that's currently open with the design team. We've provided them with a lot of information from the blast we've already completed and how we're so far below the 0.5. We were in like the 0.2 range pretty much for everything. So
224.
yeah, so we're pretty significantly below the 0.5 so far. So we're looking to just get a little leeway to up that up a little bit. Hopefully speed things up here.
The area you're planning on increasing the PPV, are you further into the site now, further away from?
Right
surrounding
now,
houses?
we're currently blasting almost in the direct middle of the site right now. As we get closer to structures or people's houses, they will shrink down the blasting size. So it might not matter so much on the perimeter blast, but in the middle of the site where, you know, we have room to work, we're looking to get a little more leeway on those requirements. But it all goes back to the blaster. They're responsible.
They're way under what the maximum could be
Yeah.
though.
And they take into account when they're closer to structures, like they'll, you know, it's all kind of a mathematic and scientific equation that they run out in a software that tells them where their expected values are going to be. So they take all that into account. If they're closer to a house, they'll do a smaller blast, you know, mat it up appropriately so it contains all the
This is,
blasted.
this is a math question. Is like in a seismograph, Richter scale is a logarithmic function. So is that does it work the same way for when we're talking about PPV here or no? Would you know? Okay, I didn't think it would. I didn't think it would.
I'm
I
not
sure.
sure.
But you know what I'm talking, you have.
Right.
You get Jim, you know, that was.
Each point is a power of 10. As
Yes,
opposed to
you know the log, you know what a logarithmic function is, yeah. Yeah. Can't answer the question, but he knows what a logarithmic function is.
Yeah.
So that's the extent of my math knowledge for today, so.
So that's work completed. It's not as fun and exciting as standing, kind of doing the same thing over and over again right now, but nonetheless, it's work we got to complete to keep going. So work in progress. We continue to go through our procurement of submittals, particularly the long lead items like the switch gear. We're into our MEP coordination, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, all the mechanical systems that get in the walls, in the ceilings, under slab. Those get all modeled and coordinated so they don't clash each other. So each system has its own space to run in, accounting for insulation, accounting for maintenance space, all that types of stuff. So that's in progress. We have a weekly meeting for that. Obviously, drilling and blasting continues, rock crushing, and prep for the modular block walls.
Now that overburden, the rock crushing, are you reusing that crushed rock on site?
Some of it will be reused for, we actually just got a sample taken from the third party materials testing lab yesterday. We're expecting it to pass for a structural fill. So yes, we are reusing some of that on site. Not all of it because we have way too much to use all of it, but we will be using what we can use, yes.
Okay. But you'll have sufficient to use for the site.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
more than enough.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have mountains of rock.
Could have used this a few years ago.
So if we visit,
Truckloads of-
if we visit, we get a pocket full of rocks.
Could certainly take a pocket full of rocks.
Please bring big pockets. Very big pockets.
The work to start, like I said, the modular block walls that'll start up next week. The walls down by Golden Street, that's the south side of the site. So those are not really in conflict with any blasting work that's still to happen up the hill. And then additional perimeter tree clearing, which we have a pending PCO for tonight, would be work we would start. We'll get into that more once we get to that approval. But, you know, besides drilling and blasting, that's kind of what we got for the next month and a half to 2 months or so before we get the concrete. Other critical items, we're continuing to evaluate the schedule impact from the additional pre-blasting work. We've got a handful of proposals in. We're going through those in depth Me and Mike are in contact about that process of kind of reviewing and improving those. And then the improved traffic safety with the stop signs, which we talked about last time. We did get a proposal. We were back and forth on some backup, which we actually received this morning. So at the next meeting, I'm sure you guys will see that proposal to get the stop signs installed. Any questions on any of that before we take a look at some pictures?
So when do you anticipate blasting 10?
We are blasting into the first week of October. So October 3rd is our scheduled finish date. And we're about halfway, about at the halfway point at the end of this week. For the original 60-day duration there. Any other questions? We'll walk through these photos. First one we got here, an aerial drone shot. These are the blasting mats laid out over where they've already packed the rock with explosive. And the next picture is going to be the post-blast photo. So each of these mats is about 10,000 pounds of old tire weaved together. So you can see just how tossed around these things get when we hit that button and detonate. Those things go all over the place.
Oh, that's at a 0.2425. Imagine what a one thing.
Photo is removing overburden. You can see where that excavator is sitting. That's probably a good 8 to 10 feet down to where he's scooping dirt out of. All that overburden came out of the middle tier of the site there. Before we got down to the level for bins right on top of it. Next photo, one of the drill rigs in action. Drilling holes, getting ready for blasting. You can see the second one right behind it. So we do have 2 rigs on site at all times, working around the site, drilling holes for blasting. Next photo, just a look at as they're loading the holes with the explosive material. All those cones you see is a hole. So they fill all those up and then they'll cover them with the blasting mats once that's complete. Then we clear the area and they blast away. Next photo is a look at the rock crusher spitting out the crushed rock here. The dozer's moving the rock away. And this operation goes on all day long. So rock's getting crushed, the dozer's moving it into a pile, and then it gets loaded into a dump truck and hauled off site. With what's not being reused. We do have another pile. This is 6-inch stone, 6-inch minus. We have another pile that's quite large, 2.5-inch stone, which is what's going to be used for the structural fill. So the next photo, we have one of the pole rams on the excavator here. You can see these are the larger kind of boulders that come out of the blast. And then the hoe ram breaks them down a little farther to go into the crusher. So there's a process making that stone manageable after the blast. And the last photo, I think it's the last one. We have, you can see here, it's one of the exposed rock faces now. So some of the rock faces continue to get blasted, so we'll end up drilling kind of horizontally into them. Just a shot at, so you guys can kind of see the site here. This is one of the vertical rock faces that's now been exposed.
For those of you that haven't been there, it's quite the operation, I'll tell you.
It's pretty intense. A lot of machines running around there all day.
So is part of that rock face going to be part of the retaining wall?
This location, I can't quite tell exactly where this one is, but the rocks aren't meant to be part of the retaining wall. The retaining walls itself will be all kind of their own thing.
So you're not depending on the ledge at all for any kind of support?
It'll support various kind of tiers of the site, but it's not meant to be a retaining wall. The rock face, we will have separate retaining walls all throughout the job, which is quite a bit of them. Any questions? Thank you.
Here, you wanna? You can, yeah, we can just do the verbal with yours and not.
Yep, all I have to share for distribution is the single page document that I shared and left scattered around the table for you to review. This month, the priority was to resolve some of the open items that we had related to geotechnical and what we were going to do with the enabling phase. Started with 2 meetings with the geotechnical firm. Regarding first the Moriarty overburden that we spoke to last month. Through meeting with the principal geotechnical engineer and then the gal that actually wrote the geotechnical report. We found compromise in how much material needed to be laid down on the subgrade in order for it to compress. And then the duration of time related to the needed for that material to move. In concert, or I guess in coordination with the principal geotech, the depth of the material came down to where we're not putting 8 to 9 feet or 7 to 8 feet of material there. We're just putting in 4 feet of material. In analyzing that, what the big decision for me as your pre-con is, how does that impact schedule? Is there something that now with that amount of material overburdening the subgrade and that duration that I have is shorter, I can sequence the work around the foundation such that we can put the overburden in the areas that need it, move on to the rest of the foundation and get back to the areas that were overburdened without having to hit the site any earlier. So that was the big part of that discussion. Moving on to the Uncas site, because we had the right people in the room, I learned a very critical piece of information related to what depth the bearing strata was. So your bearing strata, as I understood it, or I interpreted it from the geotech report, was at or below water table. And that's the till product, but that is not a layer of gravel. The bearing strata is actually a layer of gravel that's on an average about 1 foot to 18 inches higher than the water table. So that gave me some real positive feedback on what we needed to do with the Uncas site to control the water, and played into the decision of the enabling phase. So that's the first piece of information that I provided here. The second was in discussing the enabling phase with our team, we had first considered whether we would put together the complete site work package and make that an early site work package for the whole project, not just an enabling phase. The documents are not quite moving as fast as we would need them to in order to make that a package. There would be some cost exposure, some risk that something isn't designed 100%. And so that plays into the cost to benefit analysis. So we're back to just an enabling phase where I'm getting on the property earlier with a contractor that doesn't do all of your site work. That's what's considered an enabling phase as opposed to an early package. Again, with the amount of work now involved, and we circled back on how much work I would take on in that early enabling phase. And crunching some numbers and looking at what the reality of that was cost-wise and what I could accomplish. Ultimately, we're back to we're gonna bid this thing as a single release on the site work package. So a lot of effort, a lot of analysis, a lot of understanding of what really needs to happen, taking into account that we'd be on the site in February when conditions are not conducive to earthwork. Frozen ground makes work more expensive. Came back to there's not enough benefit to get on the site, for only 3 to 4 weeks worth of work. So big part of this past month has been getting to resolve on that. And then we do, as Mike mentioned, we do want to move forward with an early procurement package or just a purchase order package for your switchgear. That's prudent in the industry at this point in time. Let's see, so then, now with these couple of things, as Mike mentioned, confirming how we're accessing the Uncas site. Now I can get back into the documents and drill down and finish up the logistics. Next month, I'll be moving more into finalizing the schedule. And putting the package together. We've got to get up to the state in the month of September. And now that I understand the, overall site logistics, the last part of the puzzle is in the civil side of things, the temporary bus loop, temporary parking queue, parent drop-off queue, parking areas. Those will get laid out, and then we'll be able to finalize our set of documents. It's really all that happened for us in this past month. With the changes to the overall program, I got into developing or updating our pre-construction schedule, but I didn't get to a point where I wanted to publish it. I've got too many loose ends in there, so I don't have one for you this month. So
Are you
now,
anticipating any significant changes to the schedule?
no. What we circle back to is, if things go better, right now, we're gonna be, we're looking for OGA approval. That gets us to bid, that gets us to contract awards in the middle of March and gets us on the property in the first week of April. The only small thing that we were talking about internally at ONG was, we have right now 7 weeks in the schedule for OGA review. And one thing that we could benefit is going to be if we get to OGA and ask for earlier review of a site work package. So again, now we're putting out the site work as a package, start to finish. The work goes from, soup to nuts. But getting that approval to bid that work several weeks earlier, and that would improve the date that we can hit the site with the site work contractor.
Any other questions?
So when would you anticipate the site work contractor? Or what's the earliest or optimal time for them to do for this pre-construction activity with the soil compaction and whatnot?
Well, at the Moriarty site, there's no real need to get on that property earlier. If we got on it earlier, it would be great. But the first activity is what they would do. They would excavate down to those portions of the building that require the surplus soil first. Again, it would be the first week of April, should the bid process and the OGA approval process take as long as we planned for. If that process moves any quicker, we're just on your property a week or two quicker.
And then, of course, it's all dependent on how severe of a winter.
Yeah, we usually don't get too much frost into the month of March, so even if we were to get there, into mid-March, I wouldn't suspect a problem at Moriarty in getting to subgrade and overburdening that footprint of building.
Do we do boring tests out there?
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's been our analysis tool. One of
Well, I just, I suspected that you did, I just don't remember us talking about it, but, so from your first bullet, the geotechnical folks cut the backfill, I should say, in half.
overburden, yeah, the
Yeah.
depth of the
Wow.
material, or my interpretation of when, I honestly can't remember exactly how they phrased it in the geotech report that gave me the inference of, 7 to 9 feet of overburden in these areas.
Okay, and so that was a mistake that it was, so
I
it
think
was
it
an
was more
error it
conservative.
was that much?
I think the appropriate term would be the gal that wrote the report was more conservative than when it got reviewed after that. That would be my, not so educated way. A geotechnical is not is not a science, and as a contractor, you're gonna err on the side of conservative if the soils report, if the geotech report tells you you've got to overburden and get a certain density of the subgrade of the below earth materials.
Cause that's the wet corner of that property.
Your downhill side,
Mhm.
yeah, I forget the name of the road.
Because there's a water course that comes
Kinderberg.
from across the
Oh, right.
street.
Right, and it goes.
That
and
was
it-
on
and
the
then it
Darko
keeps going
Farm,
down.
there's a pond back there, and it makes its way toward the res from, right, from,
You're pretty significantly high, and what I'm trying to remember in my memory here is whether water was really a factor. You know, at each boring, we get the information of the types of soil and whether they hit refusal or they hit water. It's all recorded in each of those penetrations. And like the Uncas site, of course, we're down at water table.
yeah.
Jim?
Jim?
If I
Yeah,
can,
go
just recalling from the IWWC review a couple weeks ago. Significant storage chambers under that part of the site that they reviewed in the inland wetlands package. So the ability to take the wet area, capture it, put it into retainage underground, have the soils on top of it, benefit from that additional drainage and separation of the water is all part of the solution.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess my concern is we only get one shot at this,
Understood?
right? I mean, if you know, these guys should tell you, I overbuild every single thing, right? You know, I build everything for a bomb blast, okay? But even taking that conservative nature out of it a little bit, right? If the interpretation initially was 7 to 9 feet, and now they're talking 4 feet, I'm gonna say, put it at 6 feet just for hell's sake.
Dan said. Question posed, got the people around the table that were the experts, that helped interpret the document. Conservative nature of a less seasoned professional. And the head of their division spoke to his intent.
Mhm.
So what we have on the table, is what was intended.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dan? Thank you. Ray, how'd we do?
Both approved.
Both approved, all right. Check one off the list, check a couple off the list there.
Okay.
Yay, rah, rah, CCP. All right, it's the end of reports.
Sorry.
Okay, brings us to consent agenda. Invoices for Stanton, Greenville, Moriarty, and Lucas. They're on the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second by Sheila Hayes. Any discussion?
Just a couple of discussion points. Just in full disclosure, the US Highway Insurance invoice for Stanley Greenville was previously approved by the city purchasing agent. CSG and Bob worked together to, look at all these policies and provide all the documentation, schedule, cost and information that they needed. And, as it goes through the purchasing agent and risk manager's purview, it was prudent for him to sign it, so he signed those invoices. There's also,
Good job.
you'll notice that there's an invoice in here for Prime Consulting Inc. That invoice was marked up by CSG prior to it going to you based on some money that we needed to hold back for some reporting. And there are 2 NPU invoices within the package for Stanton and Greenville. And those are for temporary utility costs for the water and electrical services to various construction projects.
And Mike, that USI insurance, what is that coverage for?
Builder's risk insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is required. All right. Here are no other discussion. On the motion, Stacy? Hello.
Yes. Yeah,
Hey.
sorry, I couldn't unmute.
All right, Greg?
Yes.
Thank you. Mark?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
I consent.
You consent. I'll take that as a yes. And I'll myself, I'll also consent. That's a yes. What do we got here right now? How many people are here?
2, 3, 4, 7, 8.
9. Who are we missing for?
Christine.
Christine, there you go. All right.
Christine, great.
All right. Christine. So the consent agenda is passed.
No, you see.
All right, Mike, you're up again. Discussion and possible action on items impacting project costs.
Basically, I'm just gonna summarize a few of these and then. I think the best way to do these will be to go one by one. And then that'll allow for discussion before we make approvals of these.
Is that on your, is that the other document on your,
Yes.
okay.
So we're just gonna start at Stanton Elementary School and I'll go over. Maybe the first two and leave the second two get downs. So the first one was based on. The packet backwards, I thought I looked good. For standing propane gas for portable classrooms, it's actually in the middle of the packet, there's another thing in CSP letter. This was previously distributed to the building committee. Basically, as part of the ongoing construction at Stanton, there was a natural gas line that basically ran around the property to connect natural gas to the 2 portable classrooms on the east west side of the property. And to facilitate the construction, those lines need to be removed and facilitated. As a result of this, basically, we need to still provide heat to these classrooms. In accordance with the city purchasing requirements, we solicited proposals to 3 different local gas suppliers: Uncas Gas, Spicer Gas, and Suburban Propane. The request that was made by us was based on an estimated quantity of 336 gallons of propane consumption for 9 months. Downs did the conversion from natural gas because that was on a separate meter. That's how we got these basis, 336 gallons a month, conservatively projecting an 8-month duration. We're gonna need the gas, and then you multiply that by the cost per gallon for the gas. There are some other modifiers in here, including tank rental costs and remote monitoring. All vendors were asked about those things because propane providers, if you're renting tanks from them, sometimes can have a charge, which is what Suburban did. One important thing for us is to get remote monitoring on these tanks, just so we don't run out of propane, as it's a school classroom and it can't ever be without heat. So a remote monitoring apparatus is being provided free of charge, as well as the tank rental costs by Uncas. What I'm requesting to have happen here is that the purchase that the building committee entered an agreement with Uncas Gas for a value not to exceed $5,913.60 for propane equipment installation and fuel deliveries, and then establish a contingency for Uncas Gas in the amount of $2,086.40 to cover the cost of fuel if usage exceeds the estimated quantity. And the reason for that contingency is just to not have to create a whole new agenda item. I think we feel the $5,913 should be sufficient to cover it, and in the event we run over, we have the cushion there to keep going with it.
All right, you want to take these one by one?
Yeah.
All right.
Mike, is that providing just heat or also hot water?
Just heat.
Where do they get hot water or the bathrooms there in the portables?
I don't believe there's bathrooms. I think that they have to go back into the building.
All right, so there are no bathrooms.
Susan?
So this is Matt Brown. There's two bathrooms in the portable and they're supported by a hot water heater, not from the gas from the heating unit.
Electric, Matt?
Correct.
Okay,
So, could I get a motion? What's the magic number there, Mike?
$8,000.
So moved.
By Sheila?
Second,
All right, we'll give it to Stacy. How's that?
thank you.
Second by Stacy. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Stacy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Sheila,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
myself, yes, 9-0. Next item. Well, number 2 is something we've already,
Okay, I'm gonna go Stanton 2 and Greenville 2. So basically what these are in front of you are the AAA contract change order for the PCOs that are listed in the memo. Basically, for Stanton, it includes PCOs 1 through 6 and 8, and that's the total value there of what they cost. For Greenville,
I mean, these are things we've already voted on though, right?
yeah, there are, for all items that have already been voted on, this is just now a formal document that needs to be issued to actually amend the contract with the city and towns.
Okay,
The second one, for item 1 for Greenville. It's the same situation. It covers PCO 1, 4, 12, 14, and 15. I have no idea what happened to that first number, but the real value is 573,409. $573,409. And if you flip into the packet to these documents, you can see the descriptions of the PCOs that have been previously approved. Mostly ad alternates. In the case of Greenville, the additional pre-blast surveys with reconciliation, those will probably coming next month. The meter socket and changes for MPU, add alternate 1 and 4, and the general trades and Milford reconciliation. Outstanding. Sorry, I don't remember these. The switchboard metering revisions for MPU, add alternate 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grounding rings at the electrical manholes, and then the general trades bid.
So moved for both Stanton and Greenville.
second by, motion by Sheila Hayes, second by Cindy. Any discussion regarding that or further questions?
You said those were previously approved though?
Yes.
Yes.
So what are we voting on?
Well, this is because we have to formally amend the contract.
Oh,
We
okay.
voted to approve like the ad alternates and all the other stuff, but
So this is just
the
approval-
actual change order.
So if you, yeah, if
the
you want,
change on the contract.
if you want to think about it this way, the first document that you sign is proposed change order. That's actually authorizing Downs to start the work. The second one is a change order that modifies Downs' contract.
Okay. So the money's been approved, it's just now we're,
The work's been approved, we're
Yeah.
laying out the money.
Yeah.
okay.
All in favor?
Yeah, hang on. Anybody else?
No.
All right, Stacy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Sheila,
Yes.
Peter, Bill,
Yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
me, yes, 9-0. Next,
We're gonna go to Stanton item 3 and Greenville item 2. So it's PCL 007, and it's the credit to the state education fund. It's a component of the building permit that can't be waived by the city of Norwich. For every building permit that's issued in any municipality, component of the building permit fee needs to be given back to the state of Connecticut as part of what's called a state education fee. The state education fund is used to train building officials and whatnot to continue the inspection services throughout the state. Ultimately, what happened was the city, I was carrying the cost for the state education fee within the owner costs. It just became easier to just cut a direct check to the city. So we took those costs over and issued the check to the building department for the state education fees. Downs also had it included within their guaranteed maximum price. Since the city paid it directly, the direct cost that Downs had within their GMP is now being refunded back to the city because we paid for it directly out of the owner soft costs.
So those are credits.
Yeah, in the amount of $13,061.79 for standing and $15,889.00 for free.
So moved.
By Sheila Hayes, second please.
Second.
Second by Mark Kulos. Any questions? Discussion, hearing none. Stacy?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Me, yes. 9-0.
I guess I'll do PCO or items for standing as well. This is a for record only credit. It's the cost. If everyone remembers, we needed to bid out the general trades and architectural woodwork as part of a rebid. This was previously approved in a round, discussed. I don't think it was ever previously approved by the committee. We reached out to Mark, get an expedited approval on this as it was a credit. Because we needed to get the millwork trade contractor working on shop drawings and submittals to meet the schedule. And it was previously signed, but just bringing.
Basically, it's a credit from the allowance that we had originally incorporated into the GMP.
Yeah.
So,
So the bid came in lower.
right.
So
So
moved.
I thought that it would be okay.
So moved.
By Sheila Hayes. Anyone?
Second.
Second by Stacy. Any discussion on the issue? Hearing none. Stacy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Peter? Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Myself, yes, 9-0.
I will leave standing 5 to Chris and Greenville item 3 and 4 to cut.
You're down 1,000.
He was doing so well. All right, you're up.
So, PCO 16, I'm in the high performance building consultant. One of the requirements for the project is to gather, quite a bit of documentation for the Connecticut high performance building, process. We did not include a consultant in our GMP, but after getting involved in the project, we think it would be quite beneficial to the project to bring in a professional consultant to help spearhead that effort, organize the documents, retrieve them from subcontractors, and just gather quotes. Well, the cost of that would be applied to contingency, our contingency, the construction contingency would not result in an increase in the contract or increased law.
So this won't, although, I mean, it'll reduce the contingency, it doesn't result in any total contract cost increase.
So
PCO
moved.
20 for Greenville is exactly the same if you want to vote on it.
Smart.
Okay, well,
4 and 4.
yeah,
4,
4,
5 and 4. 5
5 and
5 more, 5 on
three.
stand,
Well, what about 3? So 3 is separate. So
3.
5 and 4 is what we.
Yeah.
5 on stand,
5 on state and 4 on green.
Greenville.
So moved.
Sheila and Cindy. Any additional discussion, comments? Peanut gallery, whatever. Hearing none. Stacy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Cindy? Sheila?
Yes.
Peter? Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 9-0. All right, what else we got there?
Last item, three in Greenville.
Yeah, number 3 in Greenville.
Greenville, additional perimeter tree clearing. So after we cleared the site initially, there are some trees around the perimeter of the site that are safety concerns from the engineer of record. Also, the arborist from the city went to review it. So, you know, that site used to be a forest essentially. So now there's some trees that are exposed to wind and other conditions, weather conditions that
Some of them don't look too healthy
Yeah.
and they're already leaning in certain directions anyway. So if you've been up there, you can.
there's 4 large trees with a couple clusters of trees, kind of down embankments or just standalone trees that are not that healthy anymore. Require.
They won't be particularly easy to get at, so they'll probably
So
need
we
some
need a
specialized
crane.
equipment.
There's a crane involved in the cost of tree removal. With that total cost of $28,340.
When I saw them, I'm saying, yeah, this is gonna cost some money.
What was it?
$28,344.
For all of them.
What does it do? Where's the?
Well, these are all on our property or are some of them on?
I think a few of them are off property.
No,
Are they all on?
no, they're all on.
They're all on property?
We wouldn't play with that.
Well, I mean, if we had to, we would. I mean,
Well,
we'd go through
If
that
we
process.
created unsafe.
Yeah,
Okay, But
yeah, and
we're not looking to do that if we don't have.
And to some degree, what I think everyone needs, and photos will tell 1,000 words on this if you see it. These trees are way up high and there's houses way down, like potentially 30 feet below. And when you look at the profile of the rock, these things are really growing into the rock.
Yeah.
So to Kyle's point about the wind concern, it may not have been an issue a long time ago because you had a whole forest to block the wind.
Yeah.
Right now that that's not there, if you get a wind going the wrong way, these things are gonna fall down a 30-foot embankment more or less and then potentially hit a house, so. Or,
So if the tree falls not in the forest, somebody here.
Where is the $28,344? Where's the Charles?
Yeah.
Okay. I just, so that's notated,
Yeah,
so moved.
by Sheila,
Second,
second by Markulis. Any other discussion? Questions, issues, comments, complaints? No complaints, I ain't taking complaints today. All right, Stacy?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry.
Why wouldn't this have been picked up on tree removal? Well, the original.
All right, 1 second.
Outside the original limits of the tree removal, it's along the perimeter. Once everything else was cleared, you know, these trees were obviously very visible and there was a concern for safety.
Okay, Stacy, yes. Mark?
What about Greg?
What? Greg? Oh, you're right, man. Sorry,
Yes.
Greg? Mark? Yeah. There's a light, the light comes on. Cindy?
yes.
Sheila? Peter? Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yes. 9-0. Thank you.
Look at me
I'm
like.
trying to put an incandescent bulb in an LED fixture,
It's
not working.
all right, I think that covers all of them, right?
Yes.
Mike, do we have anything coming up down the road you want to mention right now, or I'm just gonna ask?
As far as
Just, I know nothing that we're ready to present, but there's some things in, other things in the hopper.
I could go through with the change orders, but we've been updating you as they come through.
Okay, I mean, as long as we send them, I just want to make sure everybody gets notice and.
The biggest one right now is the proposed change order for the delay claim, which is being reviewed by everyone.
Okay, you haven't
If
seen
I was
that.
to
I think
give
I've
you,
seen that,
if
yeah.
I was to give you a value tonight, it.
Yeah, no,
it
all right,
wouldn't.
now we get a better idea. All right,
Do we need a motion to go into executive session?
yes, we do. Next item on the agenda, could I get a motion to enter executive session, to discuss the RFP scoring review for an owner's rep for Teachers Middle School and Huntington Central Office? I'd ask that the city and DOE staff and select vendors not involved in the bid process be invited to attend. The pleasure of the committee. You guys don't have to leave if you don't.
Chair yoga body.
Huh?
Good evening. Is somebody online? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll second.
second by Marculos. Who made the motion? Sheila did. All right. Second by Marculos.
Mark, before you start, you have no business afterwards, or you may.
No, I don't. I just, if you wanted to be here, you could be. I would allow it, but it's. All right. Good night.
Good night.
And
So, extra over here.
Yeah, Mike's.
and some of you will be at convocation next Tuesday at noon, right?
They were, they mentioned it earlier.
Okay.
Thank you. Want to draw those?
Yeah, please. All in favor, Stacy,
Yes,
Greg,
Yes.
Yes.
Cindy,
Yeah.
Sheila, Peter,
Yes.
Bill, Joe,
Yes.
yes, myself, yes, 9-0. We're in executive session.
Somebody taking notes.
All right, you have to-
I say it.
We are now out of executive session.
All right,
And
we are now out of executive session. And I'm noting that no votes were taken
8:32 or 33.
at 8:32. So the next piece on the agenda is discussion of possible selection of owners rep for Teachers Middle and Huntington Central Office. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we hire CSG as our owner's rep for Teachers Middle and Huntington Central Office.
Second.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll second.
Second by Bill Hall.
Still has.
My God. I'm here. Thank you.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Stacy,
yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Sheila,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
myself, yes. It's unanimous, 9-0. Is Mike still out there?
I didn't see anyone else out there.
Okay,
We've got to come back and get his stuff.
yeah, okay.
And for the notice, it was 9-0 to go into executive session.
I was good with that.
Oh, okay.
I figured no one voted out.
Okay.
No.
All right, so is there anything else that we know of that be brought before the committee? I don't think so.
Nate, you want to discuss the
Excuse me? So, I will say that,
owner's rep?
Hmm?
Do you have item 8 on here for owner's rep?
We voted.
yeah, we just voted on
That's okay.
it. I think everybody's all right. It's having moments today, man, jeez. So,
around.
Damn weather broke and everybody's going nuts.
I will mention again, I brought this up earlier, though, just as far as things that we're gonna have moving forward. We'll be doing the RFP for an architect. Next up, that's gonna be the next thing rolling up for the last phase of the project. And then and obviously a CM, the same situation. So have we done commissioning for phase 2? I know it's a minor thing, but I don't remember. Hey, Bob, do you remember, did we done commissioning for phase 2? We probably did. I don't know. If not, I'll check with Mike, whatever. So,
Motion to adjourn?
yeah, motion to adjourn by Sheila. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bill Hall.
Oh, shit.
2 times in a minute. I'm telling you.
All in favor, Stacy,
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy.
Yes. Yes.
Sheila, Peter,
Yes.
Bill, Joe,
Yes.
self, yes. We'll stand adjourned at 8:35.